All right, so let's talk about modal verbs. In class the other day, we talked about the different kinds of modal verbs that we have in English. So we began by just brainstorming a list of different types of modal verbs. And this was the list that we came up with here. So words like can, could, should, might, may, will, and all of these ones down here. Okay. And then we talked about the fact that different modals have different meanings, right? Modals can be modals that talk about certainty or deduction, ability, advice, possibility, and all of the ones that are on this list here. Then we made a couple of sentences. Okay. We went to the next board and we talked about, that's supposed to be a 1. I don't have enough room. Hang on a minute. Okay, let's try again. Number 1. There we go. I play piano. Okay. If we want to change that to a sentence that includes a modal, we can say I can play piano. Number 2, you try the chocolate cake. Okay. If we want to change that to a sentence with a modal, we say you should try the chocolate cake. And the last one, our example was, you go to the movie, maybe? And we change that one to, you might go to the movie, or you may, or you could. Okay? And in this first example, I can play the piano. Can gives us more information about this verb, play. It tells us that you have the ability to play the piano. Okay, and it tells us that you have that ability in the present or in the future. In number 2, we add the modal should. It gives us more information about try. And now we're giving advice. Okay, I think the chocolate cake is really good, so you should try the chocolate cake. So I'm giving you advice, but it also makes this sentence a little bit softer. Okay, rather than telling someone, you try the chocolate cake, give them the advice. You should try the chocolate cake. In the last sentence, we add the word might or may or could, these modals, to talk about go. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see that in there. Let's write it in there again. Go. Okay. You might go to the movie. Okay. You may go to the movie. You could go to the movie. Here we're talking about possibility. And in this case, we add the modal verb because the sentence that we have over here is actually one of those 23 sentences, which means that it's awkward. We don't say it this way in English, but we do say it this way in English. So sometimes we use modals to make our direct sentences a little bit softer. Sometimes we use them because we need to use them, because the way we want to say the idea needs a modal. So these are all examples of modal verbs that are used in sentences that talk about the present or the future. And the rule for modal verbs in terms of their form is that it's always, always, always modal plus the base form of the verb. Okay? And the base is the verb with no to. Right? So if we have to play, the base form is play. Okay, so let's see what happens when we try and make these past. Okay. Let's just take a look in here. So the way we make modal verbs past tense is we use the present perfect idea, I guess, is what you could say. So what we do is we take the modal and we add to that have, and then we add to that the past participle. So you know that when we use the present perfect in a sentence, right? Like, I have eaten breakfast. Okay, we have plus we have the past participle. Well, past modals do the same thing. We take the word have, and then we add the past participle. Okay? So it's always going to be modal plus have plus the past participle. So let's have a look on the board up here. Okay, so here, oh, look at that. I didn't even look up there where it says she should have eaten breakfast. I just made this one down here off the top of my head. Maybe I subconsciously saw this one up here. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic here. All right, so we say she should have eaten breakfast. Okay, she should have eaten breakfast. Let me make this a little bit thinner. Okay. So notice down here we have the word has. Oh, my pen's doing funny things here. Hang on a sec. Let's erase that. Okay, you can never have has. It's always, always, always going to be have. Okay. All right. You should have tried the cake. Okay, modal plus base plus PP. And the base is always going to be have and the past participle, or verb 3. Okay. If we look at the ones with could and might and may, we say you could have gone to the movie. You may have gone to the movie. You might have gone to the movie. Okay? And these ones are talking about past possibility. Okay? What are things that could have happened in the past but didn't happen possibly? Over here, we're talking about past advice. You should have tried the cake. When we say you should have tried the cake, what we're actually saying is that you should have done something, but you didn't do it, and so you've missed that opportunity. And this is what we call hindsight advice. So the word hind comes from the word behind, and sight, okay, is looking. So hindsight advice is sort of advice where you're looking behind you. It's a funny way to think of it, but you're thinking about what you should have done in the past, but you didn't do it. And now, the feeling that you have is that you feel regret. Right? I say you should have tried the cake, but you didn't try it, and now the cake is all gone, so you can't try it. And I ask you, so did you try the cake? And you say, no, it's all gone. And then I tell you, you should have tried it when I showed it to you. Okay? So should have plus past participle is a past modal that has this idea of regret. Okay? Can, could, and might in positive sentences talk about past possibility. Okay. So what I want to talk about now is could in the negative. Okay. So if I say he couldn't, oops, sorry, oh dear, he couldn't have bought a new computer, a new laptop. Okay. So So in the negative, couldn't have bought means that it's impossible. So in order to say this sentence, we need to know why. Why couldn't he have bought the new laptop? What would be some reasons why? Okay. So maybe we know that he doesn't have any money. Okay. He's broke. Okay. Broke means that he has no money. Okay. So, oops. So he couldn't have bought a new laptop. Okay. So when we use could have in positive sentences, we're talking about possibility in the past. Okay. When we use could not have, so that's a negative sentence, we're talking about impossibility. Oops, in the past. All right, so that's could, should, may, and might as modals. Okay, our next lesson we're going to talk about must have in the past.